Good morning, everyone. My name is Tammy Sadler-Jones. I'm the City Administrator, and I'd like to call to order the License and Variance Board meeting at 10 o'clock a.m. on Wednesday, February the 14th, 2018. Happy Valentine's Day to each of you. Board members present, Roy Akery, sitting to my left is the Fire Chief, and to his left is Scott Stokes, the Director of Public Works. Terry Graham is our City Clerk, and she will be taking the official meeting minutes. First item is a public hearing, privilege license request LIC 2018-07, beer wine package 2113 South Cobb Drive, Walgreens Company, DBA Rite Aid, number 11725, with Chantel K. Wiggins as the agent. And it's my understanding you're the attorney representing Walgreens. Okay. Good morning. Okay.
Yep. I'm Mike Sard from Sard & Leff Attorneys, representing Walgreens. Apologize that Ms. Wiggins couldn't be here. She had a previously scheduled vacation. Ms. Wiggins, for your information, is presently the managing agent on the alcohol license for Rite Aid. This is part of a big national transaction. Walgreens is purchasing nearly 2,000 Rite Aid stores around the country, more than 150 stores here in Georgia. So the purpose of this application is for the change of ownership of this particular store. It will continue to be operated in the short term as a Rite Aid after Walgreens purchases it.
Okay. And it's my understanding Ms. Wiggins came before us a couple of months ago to serve as the agent for this particular store location. Any questions for the applicant's representative? Any other comments you want to make, Mr. Cox? Okay, all right. And it's my understanding she's taken the responsible alcohol sales class.
That's correct.
All right. And do you have any knowledge on what steps the store has in place to make sure that they do not sell beverages to underage persons?
Yes, I do. At least in the short term, Walgreens is going to continue Rite Aid's training program while the store's operated as a Rite Aid, and then later when it will transition to Walgreens, the programs frankly are comparable. Mm-hmm. What happens at the store? The policy is anyone who wishes to purchase an alcoholic beverage is carded. The date of birth is put into the point of sale system. The only time that someone may not be carded is if it's apparent that they are 65 years of age or older. The clerk then has to get the store manager. The store manager's protocol is to ask the guest how old they are, then they key in the date of birth to continue the transaction. If you're under 21, the transaction doesn't complete. All staff members who handle alcoholic beverages are trained. There's a computer portal and module for training, teaches them about dangers of alcohol, about not selling alcohol to underage people, not selling alcohol to intoxicated people. They're then required to take a test at the end of that module. If they don't pass the test, then they can't work.
Okay. And I'm sure we asked Ms. Wiggins this question, but from time to time, the Smyrna Police Department does undercover sting operations to make sure that the employees in a store does not sell to underage persons. And if they do, they will be taken to jail immediately. So
we've made them aware of that.
Okay, all right. Also, the Smyrna Police Department did do a background investigation, and it revealed no information that would preclude issuance of this particular license. So with that said, this is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. All right. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
I did have one other question.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
So basically, it's just that Walgreens is buying Rite Aid. So is Ms. Wiggins' position with Rite Aid now going to be the same as it is that it'll be with Walgreens?
Yes, she's same position. She's in charge of the store. Seamless transition.
Okay, thanks. Make a motion to approve license 2018-07 beer, wine package, 2113 South Cobb Drive, Walgreen Company doing business as Rite Aid, store number 11725 with Chantel Wiggins as the agent.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve privilege license request LIC 2018. LIC 2018-07. All in favor, please vote. All right. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V1. Allow accessory structure height increase from 15 feet to 20 feet, land lot 416, 0.32 acres, 2795 Crestwood Road. Luz Reagan is the agent? Is the applicant? Pardon me. Can you step to the podium, please? And for the record, can you state your name?
Luz Reagan.
Luz Reagan, okay. And Ms. Reagan, can you tell us about your first variance request?
I have a structure right now at my house that is up to 15 feet, and I want to take it up to 20 feet. The reason for that is I want to create quarters for my mother, my aging mother. She's 80 years old, and eventually she will come and live with me. And what I want to do is build a second story so she can have her bedroom up or whatever upstairs.
Any questions?
Ms. Reagan, I understand that there are multiple variances that all center around this one project. So could you kind of just, you touched on it a little bit, but could you explain what it is that you're trying to do? I understand you just said you want to take this structure from 1 story to 2 to accommodate your mother, living quarters, I'm assuming, for your mother. Is this a structure that is not attached to your home?
It is not attached to my house.
Okay, and the current structure, what is it made out of?
Brick
It's made
or
out of
block.
Brick block, right?
Yes.
Okay. So just so I understand, you want, I guess it has a roof on it now?
It does.
So you want to have someone take the roof off, build a second story, and the living quarters would be in the second story?
Yes.
About how, do you know the dimensions, the width and depth of the existing block structure?
I do. It's 15 by 20.
15 by 20, okay,
So it's 300 feet on the first floor.
okay.
So I had a question. You said your mother, who is 80, is going to be living in this particular structure?
Either her or I. Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever we can stand each other, basically.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, why not add on to your existing residence? Why are you choosing to put her in the accessory structure?
Because it's already there, and I thought it would be easier since it's already there. I thought of several times of how I could do it adding to my house, but my house is already a two-bedroom home, and I don't see how I can do that without eliminating one of the bedrooms and still be good. You know, it still be a nice floor plan. So I think it would be cheaper for me that way, doing it on that structure that I have right now.
How much research have you done so far?
I'm in real estate, and I flip houses every now and then for the last 3-4 years. And I do have from time to time, almost all of the time, people that works for me doing framework, electrical, plumbing, all kinds of things. So I had them come out there and look at it and tell me more or less how much it's going to be and stuff like that.
So if you've done that much homework, how much do you think it's going to cost then to convert this block accessory building into a living quarters?
I think it's going to be about $20,000.
And then the living area will be upstairs only, or is it down to also?
No, downstairs will be extremely open, and it will have a bathroom and somewhat of somewhere where we can put a microwave, but it will be just an open area.
So it sounds like you intend to, not for this, I guess it's your mother you're talking about?
Yes.
For her to live out there day and night and cook and eat and sleep and all of that? Or are y'all gonna communicate, not verbally, but communicate back and forth? You know, it's mealtime at 6 o'clock at night, mom comes over into the house. Is that how it's gonna work? How's it gonna work?
Well, my mother is a very active person. She does have very strong personality. So I'm thinking, one day she's mad at me. She can go out there and she will know that she has her own place. That's basically the reason that I'm doing it. In a way, to convince her to come and live with me. She's on the fence right now because she will be giving up her house. And so when it comes to cooking, she will do the cooking, but she will do the cooking in my house, in the main structure. And basically, that's for her to escape from me whenever she wants to.
You said you've already talked to your contractor people about the cost of doing whatever. I mean, let's get into the heating and air conditioning of the unit. What are you gonna do on that?
I probably will put a central AC. They have mentioned to me it's so small that probably I could do it with just a window unit. I will see, as we continue working on it, whether that would be sufficient or not.
Do you have any, so really, you've gotten prices, but you don't have any drawings or any sketches of what it's gonna look like?
I have
finished
some
product,
drawings.
all that?
I have drawings that I made. I can offer it to you.
Oh, we may in a minute. Thanks.
I'm sorry?
Just maybe in a minute.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, you said that you're going to have a full bathroom or a half bathroom on the first floor?
Full bath.
Okay, and then what about the second floor?
Nothing.
No bathroom on the second floor?
No.
Okay.
Ms. Reagan, I think that the reason we all have questions, and we're asking these questions, I hope that you understand, not because we want to make it difficult for you to accommodate your mother, but accessory structures within the city of Smyrna, so structures that are not connected to the house, really aren't supposed to be intended for dwelling, like a second dwelling on a single parcel. And we're pretty protective of that in general as a city. Which is why I'm sure that in your conversations up to today with staff, they've made you aware that you can't have a full kitchen and those types of things. Personally, I'm just having some issues with understanding in total the hardship which is required for us to consider the variance. I just wanted you to make sure that I tried to offer you some type of explanation to understand why it is that we're asking you so many questions, that we have this detailed need to understand. This board has contemplated similar things in the past, but also within our contemplation is not just your use of this accessory structure. You could do a great job and make it very nice, but you probably won't own that property forever. At some point, the property ownership potentially would change hands, and then how somebody else uses that accessory structure that's built out, basically capable for somebody to live in, it ends up being kind of an issue for us. I didn't have anything else.
The applicant?
No, ma'am.
All right. Well, at this time, you can have a seat on the front row, and we'll have Joey Stobbs from Community Development make comments.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, Joey Stobbs, Planner 2 with Community Development. Applicant is requesting a variance at 2795 Crestwood Road to increase the accessory structure height from 15 feet to 20 feet. Ms. Reagan has pretty much gone over that request. It's a one-story block structure now that they want to add a second story to, and that would be no higher than 20 feet. The current structure, the home is about 1,700 square feet, and this one would be about 600 square feet, 2 stories. We've written a lot of conditions into this approval. We recommended approval just to try to confine how that property can be used in the future. And she did have the two adjacent properties gave letters of support in the application. So the 2 people that could be affected have given their written support. So we've recommended approval with these 5 conditions. 1, approval of the subject property for the requested variance shall be conditioned upon substantial compliance with the site plan submitted. 2, the detached accessory structure is not permitted to have a full kitchen or to be rented or occupied for gain. 3, gutters and downspouts shall be installed to divert stormwater away from the adjacent properties. And the last, prior to issuance of a building permit, applicant must meet with building official to discuss engineer letter of foundation, the floor plan, framing plan, and roof framing and pitch, as well as the electrical layout and mechanical system. So in this way, the building official will know exactly how this structure will be built, and that will help us better regulate this structure in the future.
Any questions for the staff?
Yeah, I have one. Joey, what documents have you received from the applicant with regard to this or any of these 3 various requests? I guess you just referenced, site plan in one of the conditions. Do we have a submitted site plan?
We do.
And I guess part of the same question, Joey, is do we have any type of architectural drawings or engineer drawings?
We have floor plan and
Okay.
Not a site plan.
But this is not really a site plan, right?
Oh, this is the one that she did.
So this is all we have?
yes, sir.
Okay.
I think another reason why we did that last condition, so that we can, she's doing this from a conceptual point right now, but prior to issuance of building permit, we will have a lot of the answers about how it's going to be done before we issue a permit.
Well, I think this board needs to be able to see some of these documents also prior to our decision. One question I have, though, is what's the stated hardship on this and the other variance requests?
Basically, just the size of the existing home, 1,700 square feet, which limits the size of an accessory structure. If it was a 2,000 square foot, which is the minimum house size in R15, it would at least be 500 square feet. Be a lot closer than this, but it's just a small house.
Joey, just for the record, correct me if I'm wrong here, but basically what you just stated when you talked about the size of the existing house versus the size, excuse me, of the accessory structure that's allowed, the square footage total of an accessory structure is dependent upon the square footage of the home.
Yes, sir.
Right? So, because you say small house, that's kind of, that's relative, you know. A 600 square foot house might be small to somebody or it might be big. It's 1,700 square foot, you know. I guess, and that's kind of what I'm struggling with, as you're well aware. You know, one of the conditions for the serious consideration for this board to request or to grant a variance request is the consideration of a significant hardship, and that's kind of what I'm struggling with, is where's the hardship that necessitates the need for this living quarters accessory structure unattached thing. In addition, we don't really have any information to contemplate other than, you know, we don't really have a site plan. We don't have any type of engineered anything.
Well, I wanted to ask the applicant, can you explain to us what your hardship is, why it needs to be, why you're seeking this accessory structure for as a living quarters?
I don't understand your question exactly. Can you repeat that?
Can you explain to this board what your hardship is? What is the reason why you are requesting that a accessory structure be a living quarters for your mother compared to another option?
Well, the reason that I wanted is so she can have her own place within my, you know, my property.
Okay.
She stays from me from time to time, and we can get along pretty well up to maybe 2-3 months. And then afterwards, we get on each other's nerves. So that is the reason that I thought, okay, she will have her own area per se versus just my living area, because it is only 1,700 square feet, and sometimes it's too small for the two of us.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
I mean, it just sounds like the hardship is self-imposed, and it's not a hardship with respect to terrain or topography or anything like that. It just sounds like it's a self-imposed hardship as wanting to use something for a different use and it's, you know, it's self-imposed. So I can't see that it's a hardship exists.
I have to agree with you. This is a public hearing. If anyone else would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time.
I'm Frank Chandler. I live at 2784 Crestwood. I signed the petition for her. I've since thought about it, and I wish I hadn't signed it. First thing is, she wants to raise the footage from 15 to 20 foot. Is that from the surface, ground surface, or the pad that it sits on to the peak of the roof?
It's the average, so I believe that it's from the ground to where the peak is, and the
Yep.
eave soffit, it's the halfway point.
I'm not sure it wouldn't exceed 20 feet. But my concerns are, this is a concrete block building, I've been at my place 47 years. That house was there when I moved there, so it's close to 50 years old. Sitting on a pad, I doubt that it has any footing, any kind of foundation, and will that concrete block support a second floor? And then I've talked to Luce, she's told us about it, and she wants to run all of her utilities, gas, electricity, sewer, water, off the main house and up into that structure. I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense to me. And I know what she's trying to do, not have to buy rights to the new sewer tap, water tap, gas line, power, what have you. And I don't know what, at this moment, I don't know what kind of power, there's a power, the building has power, and I imagine this is about the minimum, just enough for somebody to run on. Well, the guy used it for a shop, for that. But when she starts adding a furnace, air conditioning, microwaves, and whatever, it's going to take more than 110 votes. And then the biggest concern, I think Scott mentioned it, was, I don't know, one of you, that she's in real estate. I don't expect her to be there forever. She's already had the house on the market once, couldn't sell it. And my fear is, if this goes through, we may be stuck with somebody trying to have a rental property in the backyard or side yard.
All right.
That's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to make any comments? Okay.
Yes, I'm Delbert Hart on Timberland Street, right about a block from her. And I can't see having an apartment in a small place like that when you've got 1,700 square feet of floor space already. She owns another house on Bank Street if she would want to put her mother down there. And I don't even know where her mother lives now. You need to ask her that. But I'm against any apartment in this neighborhood, especially a outbuilding like that. So I don't think you need it.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. Very, very quickly, please.
Yeah, Frank Campbell. We've had conversations before, and she's alluded to the fact that her and the mother don't get along real well. Mm-hmm. So, and the mother lives in Colombia, South America,
Okay.
and she's made a statement to them. The mother doesn't want to move up here. So the motive there, to me, is got a big old gray area in it.
Okay. At this time,
Something?
yes.
Okay. I don't think, my mother lives here half the time. I have another brother, and she stays with him whenever she gets bored or whatever. She comes to me. What he has stated in here, whether the property is too old or whether the foundation is going to take the extra structure, that's none of his business. I will take care of that. I will definitely build something that is going to withstand the weight that I'm going to put onto the property. And in regards to whether I get along with my mother or not, that's not of his business either. I speak to my mother on a daily basis 2 and 3 times. She's a very independent person, and I am too. And I thought that would be a really good thing for me to keep an eye on her when she gets much older.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion, please, regarding the first variance request.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just for the record, I just wanted to make it clear that to the applicant, Ms. Reagan, that it is not this panel's intention or desire to contemplate whether or not anybody gets along. But what we do have to contemplate, what we are forced to contemplate by city ordinance in order to grant a variance is a significant improvement hardship, and I do not see that there is a significant improvement hardship in this variance request. Therefore, I'm going to make a motion to deny variance request V18-11 to allow accessory structure height increase from 15 to 20 feet, land lot 416.32 acre lot located at 2795 Crestwood Drive for Ms. Luz Reagan.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we deny variance request V18011. All in favor, please vote. Motion denied passes unanimously. And I too share their concerns too in regards to I don't see a clear hardship that's being articulated by you. The next item is a public hearing, variance request V18005, allow increase in accessory structure size from 25 feet to 35 feet, land lot 416, 0.32 acres, 2795 Crestwood Road, Luz, pronounce your first name for me again. Luz Reagan is the applicant. Any other additional comments you want to make, Ms. Reagan, regarding your second variance request?
I do. I moved into the house 3 years ago, and I've seen several other properties that have built onto them. I gave all the information to Joy. There is a house right around the corner from me where their carport was built onto a second story. I just don't see why, I'm being rejected, but whatever. I see all over the place people tearing down properties, small properties, and building humongous properties.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see why I cannot improve my property by adding, right now I only have 2 bedrooms. That can be the 3rd bedroom for my house. That was where my thinking was. That was the reason that I wanted to enhance that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Joey, any comments in regards to the second variance request?
No additional comments. We recommended approval with the same conditions.
Okay. Any questions? This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this particular issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
And there again, this looking like it's a self-imposed hardship versus a real hardship. I want to make a motion to deny variance request V16-005, allow the increase in an accessory structure size from 25 feet to 25% to 35%, land lot 416.32 acres, 2795 Crestwood Road, Luz Reagan as the applicant.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we deny variance request V180-005. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing. Thank you. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V18-006, allow side setback reduction for accessory structure from 10 feet to 5 feet, land lot 416, 0.32 acres, 2795 Crestwood Road. Luz Reagan is the applicant.
Madam Chair, seeing that this is the third of the variance requests associated with the one applicant, I'll, for the same stated reasons as before, I make a motion to deny variance request V18-06, allow side setback reduction for accessory structure from 10 to 5 feet, land lot 416.32 acre, 2795 Crestwood Drive for Luz Reagan as the applicant.
Second the motion.
It's been motioned and properly second that we deny variance request V18-006. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V18-007, allow encroachment into city's 50-foot undisturbed buffer, land lot 572, 0.47 acres, 1272 Kings View Circle, Portico Properties Incorporated. Who's here from Portico? Okay, step to the podium, please. And for the record, can you tell us about your first variance request?
Is there more than one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was all the same thing. I'm Terrence Lewis, Portico Properties is my company. I'm not sure about the order of the, in other words, I didn't realize there was more than one request.
Yeah, the first one is the encroachment into the city's 50-foot undisturbed buffer, and then the second one is the encroachment into the city's 75-foot impervious surface setback.
Yes, ma'am. This is a platted lot, a lot of record from many years ago prior to the advent of stream buffers. There is no floodplain on the lot. We're seeking to build a single-family home on the lot, and we can certainly do so with the state's 25-foot buffer, but essentially the 50 and 75-foot buffers render the lot unbuildable. So we're asking for relief, a stream buffer variance, and I guess it's two variances.
Mm-hmm. Any questions for the applicant regarding the first variance request?
It's time.
Okay. Mr. Joey Stobbs, if you want to make comments.
The applicant's requesting a variance at 1272 Kings View Circle to allow encroachment into the 50-foot undisturbed stream buffer. As the applicant said, this is an existing lot of record. It's been platted since the 60s, and now we have stream buffer ordinances that make the lot unbuildable due to the extent of the buffers on this lot. He's proposing building a 2,200 square foot home. Impervious surface will be about 20% of the lot, which is well under our 35% maximum. And he's also proposed a bioretention pond in the back that will mitigate any kind of water quality or erosion issues to the stream. So we've recommended approval with two conditions. Approval is conditioned upon substantial compliance with the revised site plan submitted with the variance application. 2, issuance of building permit is contingent upon the submittal of a tree inventory and tree protection plan, protection and replacement plan by the applicant, and approval by the city's arborist.
Any questions for the staff?
So, Joe, the applicant, it's my understanding that in an effort to minimize the impact into the undisturbed buffer, the applicant has moved the footprint of the structure to where, has contemplated that and moved it around to try to minimize the impact, right?
Yes, sir.
And in addition to that, your testimony is that, and I see it here on the proposed site plan, that there is the addition of a detention area.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, very good.
And for the applicant, do you accept the two conditions as stated? Speaking to the mic.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I make one correction to the record? And this may be a statement about the size of the first floor of the structure, but the 2,200 square feet, we're contemplating building something more in the neighborhood of 30,000 or 3,500 square feet as a two-story home. So maybe the 2,200 is a statement about the first floor area and the garage. In other words, totaling the impervious surface.
But the site plan that you submitted along with the front elevation, does that stay the same?
Those are accurate, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
This is a public hearing. If anyone else would like to speak regarding this issue, please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V18-007 to allow encroachment into the city's 50-foot undisturbed buffer, land lot 572.47 acres, 1272 Kingsview Circle, Portico Properties as applicant.
I'll second that motion with the addition of the two conditions as read into record by staff.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V18-007. All in favor, please vote. All right. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V18-008, allow encroachment into city's 75-foot impervious surface setback, land lot 572, 0.47 acres, 1272 Kingsview Circle, Portico Properties Incorporated. Any additional, you want to make statements about this one? Okay. Joey?
The same property, they needed encroachment into the 75-foot impervious surface setback. But all the rationale and hardship is the same. We've recommended approval with those same two conditions.
Okay. This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V18-008 to allow encroachment into city's 75-foot impervious surface setback, land lot 572, 0.47 acre located at 1272 Kingsview Circle for Portico Properties, Inc. as the applicant.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V18-008. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V18-009, allow front setback reduction for new attached garage from 35 feet to 22 feet, land lot 667, 0.3 acres, 1898 Hearth Ridge Court. John Dollarhide is the applicant. Can you step to the podium, please, and state your name?
Yes, my name is John Dollarhide.
Okay, and can you tell us about your variance request, please?
I've requested a variance for the setback because the house built in 1960 is turned and to the side and pushed back very oddly into the lot, and it would make building a garage to store a vehicle very difficult with the way it is oriented on the lot right now.
Any questions for the applicant?
You gonna stick the boat in there?
Yes, I'd like to.
Okay. I saw it in the picture.
That's my winter project.
Ah, there you go.
All right, Mr. Dollarhide, have a seat on the front row, please, and Joey Stobbs will make comments.
Applicant's requesting a variance at 1898 Heathridge Court to allow front setback reduction for attached garage from 35 feet to 22 feet. As the applicant said, this house sits catty corner on the lot. It's not parallel to either of the two streets. It's a corner lot. And it's pushed further to the side, on the north side. So that's the side with the garage, with the driveway. He wants to take the carport down and build that side of the house in and then extend the garage out to the front of the house over the existing driveway. So there really wouldn't be any increase in impervious surface than what's already there. The home is about 1,100 square feet. Our minimum house size in R15 is 2,000 square feet. So this would help regain some square footage for the house to be closer to conforming with the minimum house size. And the hardship really is the placement and orientation of the house as it exists since it was built. We've recommended approval with two conditions. Approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan submitted with the variance application. And two, applicant must meet with the building official before issuance of permit to discuss floor plan, framing plan, and roof plan.
And for the applicant, do you state the two conditions? Do you accept the two conditions as stated?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Any questions for the staff? This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V 18-009. Allow the front setback reduction for a new attached garage from 35 feet to 22 feet, land lot 667.3 acres, 1898 Heath Ridge Court. John Dollarite is the applicant.
Second motion.
It's been
I'll second with the addition of the two conditions as read into the record by staff.
Thank you. At this time, we had a motion and a second. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing. Variance request V18-010, allow increase in fence height in a front yard from 4 to 6 feet, land lot 632, 0.19 acres, 2781 Matthew Street. John Beaveridge is the applicant? I'm sorry, Mr.
It's actually Beveridge.
Beveridge, okay. Pardon me.
Beveridge,
All right.
1990.
Thank you. Can you tell us about your variance request?
Yes, ma'am. We have recently built a new home adjacent to an older home. The older home is over 50 years old. It's not very well maintained, and it's actually, ironically, it's in Cobb County, not in the city of Smyrna. At the time that the properties on Matthews were being assembled and annexed into the city and rezoned, this person, my understanding is this person turned down $200,000 for that house in 2006. They've since passed away, and a estate of 5 siblings now owns it. We have tried to buy the property, but we just have not been successful. And we have a new, the homes that we're putting up are in the mid-400s. This home is either vacant or occupied by a resident at a very low rent. The property is not being maintained. This is a de minimis request for about 24-foot section of fence that goes from the front face of the house down to the right-of-way and gives some visual and security, safety, privacy to our new residents. And I agree with staff and community development that they believe there are sufficient privacy and visual concerns that justify approval of the request. And so that would be, I'm opening for questions on this.
Any questions for the applicant? All right. If you could have a seat on the front row, we'll have Joey Stobbs make comments, please.
Applicants requested a variance at 2781 Matthew Street to increase fence height in front yard from 4 feet to 6 feet. This is an interior lot, it's not a corner lot, and as the applicant said, there's a county island right to the adjacent to this property. They've extended the fence within the front yard section of the subject property. So it just goes down the side property line up to the property line. We've reviewed the request and found it to be in compliance with all of the variance conditions. We recommended approval with no conditions.
Any questions for the staff? This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V18-010 to allow increase in fence height in a front yard from 4 to 6 feet, land lot 632, 0.19 acre, located at 2781 Matthew Street for Jim Beveridge as the applicant.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V18010. All in favor, please vote. All right. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. For the staff, I did not get an opportunity to tell Ms. Reagan that she could appeal our denial before she left. So can you make sure that that is properly communicated to
I will
her?
communicate it to her.
Okay, she has 10 days business days to put something in writing to the clerk's office if she wants to appeal to the mayor and council.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the minutes for the January 24th, 2018 License and Variance Board meeting.
Motion to approve the License and Variance Board meeting minutes of January 24th, 2018.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve the meeting minutes for January 24th, 2018. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I'd like to declare this meeting adjourned at 10:51 a.m. Thank you.